Hey, what's up, Mr. Molina? This is John Chavez from the Boxing Truth Radio. You're live on air right now. How's everything going, man?
Everything's going good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Congratulations on the big victory this past Friday. You were an underdog going into the fight. Have you gotten a chance to watch the fight yet since Friday?
Yeah, I've watched the fight a few times, actually.
What'd you think about it, man?
And round number 8 and round number 11 were my favorite. What'd you think? They're actually really great. It was a great fight, man. I think it was an entertaining fight for the fans. I think they actually saw. Go ahead,
most definitely, man. I was speaking earlier on the show that I was watching it with my girl, and she was stating that there's no way that Molina was going to work his way back into the fight, and I told her, sit tight. You know, in boxing, you know, this is what makes the sport so great, is that a guy can be getting, you know, punched a little bit too much in the early rounds and come back, especially if he's a game fighter such as yourself. You know, how did this fight with Lundy come about? You know, at most of your career, you're on the West Coast, and this bout took place on the East Coast. Was this a fight to go ahead and, I guess, set up Lundy for bigger and better things, or was this something that it was just good matchmaking?
It was just great matchmaking. I think you got a point in my career where we had to say, hey, this is a guy that people think needs to be beaten, and we got to take it to him. You know, never once do I shy away from anyone that my matchmaker puts in front of me. Actually, I believe they wanted to make the fight, and I went ahead and okayed it. Actually, from what I understand, we wanted to make the fight a few fights earlier, but they didn't want to make the fight.
Okay.
So, obviously, for good reason. I mean, it was a great fight. I'm taking nothing away from Lundy. I think he's a great fighter. You guys all saw a technically sound boxer. I don't think hammering suits him very well, because hammering's not his name. It should be more boxing, Hank Lundy, because he boxed very well. But I do think that, like they told me before, and they asked me before, what would be the keys to victory, and I said my will to win, and I think I showcased that July 9th.
You know, most of the boxing fans that watched the fight on Twitter and online as the fight was taking place were like, what the hell is Molina doing in there? He's just getting hit, not returning fire. Was that your game plan, to kind of put that pressure on him, see how he'd react, and then come on strong in the middle and later rounds?
Absolutely, in the sense to where I know he's never been in there with anyone. He was a bully. I think that's where he got the hammering name from. He's been bullying all these opponents that, to no disrespect to any of those opponents, but I don't think that they didn't have the willpower that I had or the strength, I believe. So I think that that had to be tested on him. He had been down 5 times before in his career, so I know his chin was suspect, and I knew I was going to find his chin because it was a marathon, not a sprint, and we had 12 rounds to do so. And going into that 11th round, Joe told me, you need to knock him out this round. You need to stop him this round, because come the 12th round, all he's going to do is run around. And that's what he was doing. He was tipping and popping and moving, but I think as we were getting to him and touching him, little by little, it was wearing him down. And obviously, every time I was hitting him, I was hearing he was making noises, like squirming. Every time I would touch him, he was making noises like it wasn't too comfortable for him. And just like the punch in the overhand right in the 8th round, I'll give him credit for getting up, because I landed a nice, solid right hand. And his body went limp. I think he woke up when he hit the ground, because he tried to say that I tripped him. I don't know if you were familiar with that.
Yeah, I did see that. And I was surprised to see him get back up, because I was like, man, that was a monster right hand. You know, it seemed Lundy he was in pretty good shape to go ahead and get back up from that shot. You know, it seemed as though going into that fight, you guys had a little bit of bad blood going into that. Did that change your motivation going into it? Did it up the ante at all?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense where I'm a fighter, and of course I want, like I said in the beginning, I want to be the one in the end to say, I told you so. I told you were in there with the beast. But you know what? I think he needed to hype himself up. I think that he wasn't trying to get to me mentally, because that wasn't going to work. I think he was trying to hype himself up. But I think he knew he was going in there with the beast. And if you do recall in the press conferences, he wasn't as mouthy as he normally is. I mean, he was running at the mouth a little bit, but when it came to me, I think he showed me a little bit more respect, because I think he knew when he saw me face to face, and I'm a lot bigger in person than he thought so on TV and seeing my other fights. But again, the motivation behind it was just, I want to be a champion. I want to be one of the best out there. I want to show that no matter who I'm in there with, it's going to be a fight. And I think, again, I showcased that July 9th.
How's the training been with Joe Goosen? You seem to have a pretty good chemistry with them. I like the way that he gives clear and concise instructions in between rounds. How's that been going for you?
That works out really well. Joe's a world-class trainer, man. You know that better than anybody. He's world-renowned. He works out well with me. And you know what? Between you and me, people haven't seen anything yet. They've seen one aspect of me, oh, well, maybe Molina gets hit too much. Maybe he's not a polished boxer. But to be honest with you, the less people know about me, the better. And I think that's going to be revealed each fight at a time, and they're going to see a different aspect of me. But they already knew. They do know one thing, that they do know that I have power in both hands. And I believe that was, again, on Showcase July 9th.
Well, they definitely know that your game is hell. You know, the one thing I like to see, no disrespect, I'd like to see you pick off a little bit more shots with your gloves, man, because I know you got them close to your face, but you're just eating them, man, and I don't think that you have to do that. I definitely don't want to see it affect you later on in life, but you definitely put on great fights. You know, Goosen was a trainer for Diego Chico Corrales, rest in peace. You know, some of these fight fans right now are comparing you to a guy like Corrales based on your heart and punching power. What are your thoughts about that?
To be mentioned in the same breath with him is an honor. Again, rest in peace, Diego Corrales. You know, people say, well, Joe Goosen sends his guy in there to take too much punishment and this, that, and the other. But, again, we're not in a debate contest. We're in a fight contest. And, you know, I'm there to fight. That's what I want to do. You know, and to be honest with you, my perspective behind that was Lundy was going to pip and pop and move the whole time, you know. And in order for him to get comfortable and get brave inside himself and gain a little bit of courage, he had to be able to touch me. He had to be able to come forward. Believe me, right when I felt his best, there's no way Lundy was going to hurt me. There was no pop behind his. He has no pop whatsoever behind his punches. The guy, he's a decent puncher, but he's not a big puncher by any means. I mean, you saw the way I was taking his punches. The only time I ever was wobbled is we hit a headbutt in the second round. He headbutted me right on the temple, and I'll admit, for a split second, I couldn't find him. I couldn't see where he was at. But I was able to gain my wits about me right away. But, again, he's a great fighter. He fought very well. You know, it made for a great fight. I think the fans were highly entertained. You know, you never count me out in the fight. And I do agree with you. Moving my head more and blocking those punches is going to be a lot better for myself. But I think when the time comes and you see me in my next fight, I think that'll be showcased a little bit more.
I got to say, it's definitely a breath of fresh air to hear a fighter, especially on television, talk about wanting to put on crowd-pleasing performances. What are your thoughts on the state of boxing? And it seems as though a lot of guys out there are all about the paycheck and trying to get the win as easy as possible. When you have a guy like yourself putting it out there all on the line, trying to please the fans, make a name for yourself. What are your thoughts about the differences within the business of boxing based on that?
I think it spoke for itself July 9th, and yeah, of course, when people come in the hard times that we're in, it's no joke, we're in a recession right now, it's no secret. I think in the hard times that we're in, people want to see a fight, and I believe that's what I'm trained to do, and I'm prepared to do so, and I think that other fighters need to, we're in boxing, we're not in patty cake contest. It's going to be a fight. Yeah, there's a smart way to go about it, and try to be a little more stealth in there and try to be, more elusive, if you will. But at the same time, at the bottom of the line, at the end of the day, if you go water skiing, you're going to get wet. If I'm in a fight, I'm going to get hit. I know what I'm signing up for, and I think that only makes for a crowd-pleasing and an entertaining fight.
That's some great words from a warrior like yourself. Is a rematch between yourself and Martin Honorio something that you like to go ahead and showcase? Because we know you had that hiccup in your career. Is that something that you like to go ahead and pursue?
To tell you the truth, man, I did that up to my matchmakers. As of right now, that's neither here nor there. I think Honorio, it was a great milestone in my career, a great learning experience. I think I've become a better fighter because of it. And to be honest with you, I was sick in that fight. But I think that's water under the bridge now. To be honest with you, I don't think that wouldn't make any sense for the fans or for anyone to want to see Martin Honorio and John Molina fight. I think they want to see me go forth in my career, and whoever Dan Goosen puts in front of me, I think whomever I'm in there with, it's going to be an entertaining fight.
Well, I'd like to see you continue your career on ESPN, putting together these exciting type of fights that all the fans definitely appreciate. We'd like to thank you for gracing the Boxing Truth radio show, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good one.